All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday out there, January 31st. We have a 7-game NBA slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to my final plays. So I'm actually rolling with myself, absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. In terms of how we did yesterday, it was a lot of action for not much of a result either way. Now, it was a green day, but I struggle to even say that. We were a 0.04 units of profit yesterday. That Hawks Cav under, I really like. That was one of our bigger positions, and that one falls through. The Hawks played about how I thought they would. Cleveland just absolutely went off, but Darius Garland was part of that play as well. So they went off, he went off, kind of mitigated some loss there. And then Fred VanVleet, he had the attempts, had the play, but you know what? Amen Thompson, Jalen Green kind of just wanted to be the one scoring yesterday. And you know what? That was a really good game to watch. I don't take back what I put on that game for the entertainment I got out of it. We did hit the same game parlay, but that's because we knocked VanVleet's points all the way down to 12. He finished with 13. So I think he finished with 18 and 5. So, 13 and 5 for 18 points plus assists. But like I said, the price of admission for that game, watching that one, was worth it. Anthony Simons, no sweat. Same thing with Jackson Hayes. But again, a lot of action yesterday for a 4-3 night, 0.04 profit. Still green, but nothing to write home about. Something to write home about here. We can pump in some crowd noise. Coming in from Colin had Donovan Mitchell over 4.5 assists. He cashed just one. Well, I mean, he had 4, I believe, at halftime. So this was a fairly no-sweat play. I think he finished with 6 or 7. Him and Garland had 6 and 7. I don't remember exactly who had who, but Donovan Mitchell here turning into a nice little passer, and I think it helps when your guys are making shots as well. And he's been really good at finding Mobley down low when he draws attention and whatnot too. So shout out to Colin here. We'll drop the cha-ching for that one because our picks last night, again, green, but certainly not cha-ching worthy. But this Donovan Mitchell over 4.5 assists, definitely a good look with the ride of the day. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments, or ROTD. Give me your favorite play. I pick one person each and every day. Jump on board. I give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. Also shout you out over on my Twitter/X, which all my socials will be popping up right here if you do want to go ahead and follow me. And you get shouted out with the final plays over on the Guy Boston Sports site. If you win, like Colin did yesterday, we continue to ride with your plays. If you lose, we give you a shout out, but you got to face the womp womp from the soundboard. But nonetheless, Colin, looking forward to seeing what you throw out today. Again, all plays for the ride of the day, guys, have to be inside -150. But let's go ahead and jump into today's 7-game slate. First, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You guys have been absolutely crushing the like button as of late. I think the YouTube like button on our videos is afraid. It's like, don't smash me again. Go ahead and do it there. Let's jump into the first game here. We got Charlotte taking on the Clips. Now, if you haven't heard, there's been plenty of injury news with the Charlotte team. We know that Brandon Miller, or you should know, Brandon Miller is out for season. Mark Williams is out right now. And then LaMelo Ball, I believe they said he's going to be out at least a week. So maybe he'll be reevaluated in a week. So they are definitely dealing with some injuries. I think the only thing that I would look at here is potentially a team total under for Charlotte. This team, and a lot of you guys in the comments brought it to my attention more so than even my own digging. This team legitimately cannot score without LaMelo Ball on the floor. It's crazy. Throw in the fact that you don't have Mark Williams, you don't have Brandon Miller. It's like Miles Bridges is on an island out there. Now, he does have some guys that would, Micic here, Nick Smith, Green's probable, center at Taj Gibson. It's like, it's just not the best squad, right? So I do think a team total under for them could work, but the problem is, I feel like I'm kind of late to the party here. You know what I mean? Like everybody's been I guess, in the know with that, except really me, because more often than not, if LaMelo's not in on Charlotte, I don't really even consider much of a play, but this actually could be a final play today because they're going up against the Clippers, who are honestly a very good defense, right? This season, number 2 defense in terms of efficiency, number 3 defense in terms of points allowed per game, and this Charlotte team, likes to shoot. I guess they have started to shoot from multiple spots, especially with all the injuries, but it doesn't matter where you catch this Clippers defense. They're good down low, they're good from above, so I don't really see how this is a spot in which Charlotte scores very easily. So give me their team total under. It's probably the only thing I truly look at in this one. I also don't mind Ivica Zubac here over 14.5 points. The reason I don't mind it is because it's plus 100 right now over on DK. Everywhere else it's minus 110. So seems like a little bit, 10 cents of value there against a team in which, they don't really cover the center position all that much. Last 7 games, and this is all from our dashboard. In fact, we can just jump in and show you here. Last 7 games, 30th Charlotte is in terms of preventing points to opposing centers. You could see over here, last 3 games, 25th in terms of defending points in the paint. So I really don't mind the spot for Ivica Zubac. You'll see this dashboard a few more times in today's show, so we'll tell you a little bit about it later. But I do think Zubac should look pretty good. We have him projected for 14.2 right here, at least in this matchup dashboard. And in what I'd consider one of our newer things, which is a little bit more detailed, we have him projected for, I think it's 14.6. So I don't mind a spot. Maybe a potential look at him for points as well. Because again, you're getting even odds there for a guy that should be able to dominate the paint here today, right? His double-double number, I looked at that and I was like, oh, that might be good. What am I thinking? It's like minus 200. But again, I think Zubac could have a good game. But blowout-wise, we could have an issue, right? I mean, honestly, I don't mind a low-scoring game, so if you like the full game under, sure. Also, if you like the full game under, maybe, I know it's kind of counters everything I say, but Charlotte plus 13.5 in a low-scoring game seems like a lot of points. I don't think I'd touch that, but just saying. All right, moving on to Detroit versus Dallas here. So before we do get into the side or the total, I have a player prop that I'm liking, and it may be considered crazy to some because this guy has been Mr. Inconsistent this season, right? But I don't mind Klay Thompson over his 13.5 points or his over 2.5 3-pointers made. Reason being is that this Detroit team is pretty good in the paint. So we know we're going to want to focus on some defensively, right? We know we're going to want to focus on some perimeter action for Dallas. And then looking even further into it, they're actually not all that bad in terms of Detroit's defense against the pull-up jumper. So Kyrie kind of fades into the back for me because obviously he's a perimeter guy for them, but they're really poor at defending the catch and shoot jumper, which is literally what Klay Thompson does for a living. Quite literally, you know what I mean? So I think Klay Thompson has a decent spot today. I could see him putting up, 15 points. I'm not saying Klay goes absolutely berserk, but 3 threes, 15 points would cash both of these. My biggest concern, so if you go to our final plays and you're seeing, okay, we don't see Klay Thompson there, we don't see Klay Thompson there. One, I'm either still, putting it around in my brain, or two, it's like, do we really want to put our eggs in Klay Thompson's basket? Like, he is, like I said, been Mr. Inconsistent, right? He'll literally have games this season where he has 4 points, 5 points, 3 points. It's like, what are you doing? So that's my concern, but I do think it's a very good matchup for him. I'll say that. Last time he played them, he played 35 minutes. Hopefully we get those minutes. He shot the ball 18 times, shot the ball 9 times from 3, had 19 points, and he made 3 threes. So we have the head-to-head numbers against him, for him, I should say, as well. It's just a matter, again, and I'm just being transparent. It's like, yes, dream matchup. Sometimes you'd close your eyes and say, send it. But to me, I just don't know if we can fully put our faith in Klay Thompson. So again, I like his points. I like his threes. Are we really going to get there? We're going to have to consider that. In terms of games this year against teams that are not good at defending that shooting zone, so above the break, we'll go, say, bottom 10 in the league. He's hit it in 10 of his 19. His last, why don't we say his last 10 games against those teams? Exactly what I was saying. He's hit it in 4 of 10. You know what I mean? So depending on your sample size, Klay Thompson, Mr. Inconsistent. Now let's get to the side and total here. This Dallas team obviously is still banged up. In terms of their starting lineup, looks like it's going to be Kyrie, Dinwiddie, Klay Thompson, Washington, and Gafford, as we still have no Lively, still have no Luka. Dante Exum is listed as questionable off the bench, and then Dwight Powell still out of Maxi Kleba as well. On the other side of things, just Jaden Ivey listed as out for this one. I think that this is a spot in which Dallas, they've been beating bad teams. I don't think Detroit's a bad team, but I do think, like I said, they match up fairly well against them. So I don't mind Dallas in this spot. The fact that we're seeing, Detroit, I don't want to say implode. That's so harsh, but remember just 2 weeks ago, they were playing ridiculous basketball. Since then, they're like they're 2-5, 2-5 against the number. You know what I mean? So I don't see why this Dallas team can't almost win this game outright. Maybe I'm crazy. This spread has been bouncing back and forth between who's favored all morning. Right now, Dallas +1.5. I've also seen them -1.5 for plus money, but still. So give me Dallas. In terms of what we have from a total here, I feel like we have a lot of weird thoughts in this game, but I don't mind the over. I think if Dallas does start hitting their shots, I haven't even mentioned Dallas's defense here. Dallas also not all that great at defending the paint, which is where Detroit likes to score from. They also have been lacking defending the perimeter, which if Detroit can hit some threes, we should see some more points here, right? So yeah, I'll lean towards the over again. Dallas, Klay Thompson, and the over. And the real reason being is that Detroit prioritizes scoring in the paint and being in the paint. And Dallas, that's not really their strength defensively. Speaking of strengths defensively, is there defense out there that can stop Patrick Mahomes? What a transition into a Prize Picks promo here, guys. Get that play 550 for the Super Bowl here over on Prize Picks. They have a big game free pick, Patrick Mahomes at 0.5 yards. He's going to crush it. The dude could potentially be three-peating right now, which as a Patriots fan, I'm a little salty about, but at the same time, he is absolutely great. And like I say in my NFL videos, I think people hate him because of how good he is and because of the ancillary factors, his wife, his brother, that type of thing, maybe his dad as well. I think Patrick Mahomes, other than his flopping and bitching and moaning, which I can't say squat about, I was a Tom Brady fan, I think that people just hate him because he's great. But nonetheless, go take advantage of this free pick, guys. You're going to get a play 550, play 5, get 50 on Prize Pick. So you hand them $5 into an entry, you get 50 back as a new customer, and you get this Patrick Mahomes square. Why would you not put this Patrick Mahomes square in an entry if you're a new customer with $5, right? And then you're going to potentially get that payout. You already have a free pick in there guaranteed. You'll get that payout as well as an automatic $50 in bonus funds. Go ahead and check out Prize Picks. That link will be down below in the description as well as the pinned comment. I'll be posting on social media leading up to the Super Bowl my play and entry that I'm going to be rolling with this. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. But link in the description as well as the pinned comment. Go sign up for Prize Picks. What a transition talking about defense, but let's get back to these games here. All right, Philly taking on Denver. I do have an opinion on this one, but it seems to square, right? And I would expect this line to quite honestly be similar to what we saw from that Charlotte and the Clippers game. Like, I don't see a reason why Denver is only single-digit favorites in this game. They're coming off of a bad loss to New York that was nationally televised. Jokic got in foul trouble, wasn't his best one. Philadelphia's won 4 straight games, beating Cleveland outright, right, as 9-point dogs. They beat the Lakers in, I think they were at home, right? But that was on national TV. They beat Sacramento on that next night on a back-to-back. They also beat Chicago on the back-to-back after Cleveland. Like, if there's any team that's due to fall flat, it's probably Philly, right? But maybe they're just proving everyone wrong. We don't need Paul George. We don't need Embiid, Drummond, the cast and crew. We don't need those guys. But to me, it's like if there's ever a spot to take Denver, needing to win by 10 points, it seems like it could be right here, right now. So yeah, I don't mind this spot. They just played 10 days ago in Denver, and Denver won 144-109. So, yeah, I think that Denver clearly knows what it takes to be able to beat this squad, right? So, hopefully, we do see, a little bit of that come out, I should say, because, yeah, to me, this is just a spot in which can't really make an argument for Philly. If I'm being completely honest, you do have the factor of that they're playing hot and they're playing really well, and sure, I understand that. But to me, Denver's the better team coming off a loss. Philly's playing above their shoulders right now, above their head. Fall flat spot for them. So, yeah, give me Denver minus the 9 points. You throw in some more factors here. Denver likes to score in the paint. That is not, obviously, Philly's defensive prerogative in terms of, preventing. Philly, 73% over the last 10 games, allowing the field goal percentage in the restricted area. No team, well, there's only one team in the league, it's in the Knicks, shoot more over the last 10 games in the restricted area than the Denver Nuggets. They're number 2. And then in the paint in general, so outside of that restricted area, Philly allows 56% 8%. So two really bad numbers there. I expect Denver to score some points today. Maybe a Denver team total over as well. So give me them minus the 9, but a team total could be the spot in which you say, okay, well, make this competitive. What do I care, right? This could be a competitive game. Denver goes out there and gives you 120, which isn't always the case, but they have hit it in 3 of their last 5. Maybe that's somewhat of a look as well. And I've been digging for some player props in here. Nothing really absolutely jumping out to me right now. I mean, I want to target someone in the restricted area for this Denver team and in the paint because that is the weakness. But to me, it's like right now in the last 10 games, weirdly enough, Christian Brown's been the one that's leading the team in attempts down there. And it's like, I don't really want to wager on him, right? Russell Westbrook's also there, which maybe that's a look, but at this point, the Russell Westbrook, I feel like his lines have kind of, or his go-off ability has kind of passed, right? Like there's a time in, his lines right now, 12.5. There's a time in which you're getting 12.5 and he was scoring 21 and stuff, right? That sort of stretch early January. Now he's scoring 13, 14. So yes, he has a great hit rate to over 12.5, but is he always going to have the field goal attempts? Not necessarily sure. Like he scored 14 points on 11 attempts against the Knicks, which is great, but he had to shoot, 50% from the field. So I'd target someone who likes to shoot in the paint for Denver. I just don't know if I don't even know if I don't know if that's really worth it, I guess. Denver team total probably starts to be my favorite look in this one. All right, Toronto taking on Chicago. I don't even know if by the end of breaking this down on video, I'll have a firm answer because much like that Blazers and Magic game, I've been going back and forth and it's totally line dependent right now. So this line right now, 4.5, I've seen actually 3.5s out there, so it's moving in that direction. But 4.5, I might have said, okay, getting 4.5 points with Chicago, I don't believe in this Toronto team, yada, 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 right? But now as this one moves down 3.5, like I don't really mind 3.5 with Toronto. So yeah, you're going to get a little bit of on the fence Ev, but you know what? It is what it is. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment on the fence down below. Because if you guys, bet every day and all that type of stuff, you can't be just confident about every single thing you talk about, right? So we'll talk about this, and I think I do ultimately end up leaning towards Toronto for a few reasons. I'll get into them, but I'm not trying to talk anybody off of a Chicago play today. So anyways, Toronto, first and foremost, has been playing really, really well, right? 5 straight wins. Orlando, Atlanta, New Orleans, Washington. Say what you want about the strength of schedule. It's not the greatest, whatever, but they've also played the 4th hardest strength of schedule this season. They have also covered in all of those games. They're 7-3 straight up in their last 10, 8-2 against the number. You flip it over to Chicago, it's literally like a polar opposite. 2-8 straight up, 3-7 against the number. Now, their last few games here have been kind of brutal. Boston, Denver, Philly, Golden State, the Clippers. They got Portland. Now Portland's a good team all of a sudden. Like, they've been playing some squads, right? And they are in the middle of a road trip right now, which Toronto, the fact that they have had 4 road games in their last 6 games. They've won 3 of those 4 games. This team stinks on the road, yet they won 3 of them. You know what I mean? That was 3 more than they had prior to. So Toronto clearly in a better spot here. Now they are at home. We get into the dashboard, which we'll go through this, and then I'll tell you how to get access to this dashboard if it does interest you. But you can see here, both teams like to score in the paint, right? Well, Toronto over the last 10 games here, 61%. Pretty damn good at preventing points at the rim. Chicago, not exactly so much. You can even see literally the worst team in the league, no matter how you cut it up. Full season, when they're on the road or in their last 3 games here, they are struggling, right? 30th in terms of points in the paint allowed. Toronto 3rd in terms of scoring down there. Now, you flip it over to the other side of things. Well, Chicago's good at defending the perimeter. Toronto probably says we couldn't care less. You know what I mean? They don't like to shoot the threes. They don't score via threes. Chicago does, and Toronto, last 3 games here, all of a sudden, the number 1 team in terms of preventing threes to their opponents. Now, again, their strength of schedule recently is an impact here, but I start to look at multiple things. Okay, well, let's look at the catch and shoot numbers. Okay, Chicago, likes to do catch and shoot in terms of offensively. Well, Toronto, very good at defending that. Where you could get them is the pull-up offense. Chicago barely does it. 3rd fewest this season in terms of pull-up field goal attempts, right? You go over to isolation. Okay, well, Chicago really good at isolating. Number 1 team offensively in terms of effective field goal percentage, and number 5 in terms of score percentage. They don't isolate all that much. 6th fewest or 7th fewest, which is where you may have been able to get Toronto, but who is going to do the isolation? No Zach LaVine here. Who's going to be the isolation guy? I don't really think anybody. And you flip it over here, it's like their pick and roll offense isn't really all that great. So I'm struggling to find reasons to get to Chicago, which makes me by default start to like Toronto there. So I'll lean Toronto again. -3.5 is the more accurate number as of right now. They're playing good basketball, but we just talked about the Sixers, right? Like, is this where Toronto falls flat because they've been so good? Potentially, but there's just not enough there. I just went through what I would look at, right? There's not enough there, unless I'm totally missing something, not enough there to make me want to like Chicago. We'll get into the total in just a second here, but guys, if you do want access to that dashboard, this is the Guy Boston Sports site where the final plays live, right? It'll come, it'll be in the pinned comment. You'll come over here. You head over to the members area right up here. You can click NBA dashboard. We are logged in, so you're going to see the dashboard, right? Which, good, it's already updated for today. You get this each and every day. You can open it up, and what's cool is you can zoom, you can move it around, you can even print it out, which I like to do when I'm on a plane or something, and scribble on it and try and find some spot. There's enough white area where you can make some notes, but you have essentially each and every game, like the one we just looked at, broken out from a visual perspective. And this is pulling a bunch of different websites that I use on the daily, literally like 6 or 7, all into one space. So it definitely saves some time. I really am, I should say, proud of kind of what we built here and the feedback that we've received from you guys that have signed up. It's awesome. We have one for NFL as of right now as well. But if you guys don't have access, you'll see this when you go to that spot, right? There's also a link right in the final place to get to this, but you'll see membership required. Our membership levels as of right now, pretty damn simple. We have a lot more coming. Like I said, we have that player projection model coming, and also, let's see if we have the raw version. Yeah, right here we have our game projection, which has been pretty damn good. Don't want to spoil the hit rate right now, but pretty damn good. But those things are still kind of in limbo and still trying to prove out, right? Wouldn't want to just put it up here and make a quick buck if I don't trust them, which we'll get there. I'm confident in that. But you have the All Sports Dashboard membership, meaning you get any dashboard we have year round, or at least in that month. So NBA, MLB, NFL are our big ones. Then you can also just do it via sport, right? So by sport here, you have $2.99 per month for the NBA dashboard, and then $2.99 for the NFL dashboard. Much more to come in terms of membership levels. We just launched this at the beginning of January, so still a lot more to come there. But that's how to get access to that dashboard, which I swear by. Like, that's one of the most, I think, one of the things I take the most pride in that we've built, because that thing, I don't even know how many hours it took to build. And you guys know, if you've been here for years, our dashboards have just morphed and morphed and morphed to something that I think is really good right now. It's still, we're going to add to it, but like, that's my favorite that we've had so far. Anyways, go ahead and check it out if that does interest you. Total wise here. So this Raptors team's actually been playing good defense over the last 3 games. Number 1 defensive efficiency team, right? And number 1 in terms of points against over the last 3 games. Chicago plays fast. So does Toronto to some degree, but they've been playing good defense. I really am struggling to get to a high number here, but what if Chicago runs on this Toronto team? They are a terrible transition defense. Maybe that should be an argument for Toronto. Like I said, I was struggling before. And then what if they hit their threes? It's not like Toronto played any world-beating three-point teams, right? Atlanta, New Orleans, Washington. No kidding, they were number 1 in terms of three-pointers allowed last 3 games. So I think I most immediately was like, I got to go under, right? But this line's moving down. It's already jumped down a couple points. I don't mind an over. Like, I don't see where the defense is coming from overall on the Chicago side of things. And if they do score, if Chicago does score, it's like, oh yeah, this is a facade of Toronto's defense, right? So like I told you guys, I'm a little indifferent here, but give me Toronto the over. And then in terms of player props, we're definitely going to be targeting guys that are on Toronto that I also should mention, by the way, Quickly may be coming back, which I don't know if that helps or hurts them. They've been playing well without him. He's questionable right now. I should have definitely mentioned that. But in terms of player props, in terms of guys that like to score in the paint, you're looking at RJ Barrett, right? Scotty Barnes, that type of stuff. I don't mind them, but again, I think if you roll with Toronto, you might as well just roll with them instead of getting mixed up in some player props, because if one of those guys has a good game, it's drastically going to help their chances. All right, San Antonio taking on Milwaukee. We usually have really good games between Wemby and Giannis, right? Last time these two teams played, we were really big on Milwaukee, and they ended up winning by like 16, which that was in Milwaukee. Could be a little different here. You have San Antonio coming off of, honestly, not the best stretch. I was going to say coming off of a loss to the Clippers, but they've lost 8 of their last 10 games. Milwaukee's won 7 of their last 10. They're playing some good basketball, and that's been the team, them and the Sixers, I've said for a while, right? I mean, Minnesota's the other one. I think those 3 are really the ones that I keep saying are going to turn the corner. Sixers are so injured, and Embiid's such a piece of you-know-what. I don't really know if they're going to turn the corner. But Milwaukee, I do think, is going to be there when it's all said and done in terms of competing for that Eastern spot. So I do think that they're the better team when it comes down to it, compared to this Spurs team, which that shouldn't be, dropping any jaws. Milwaukee 27-19 so far this season. They're sitting at the 4th spot in the East, whereas you have the Spurs, who are right now the 12th seed, and they're at what, 20 and 23, something like that. So it's like, yeah, I'm not breaking any news to anybody. And they only have a 2.5-point spread here. So you look into the injury report, and Giannis is listed as probable, but that's really the only thing. AJ Green's listed as probable. Bobby Portis out. I don't think he moves the line all that much, but doesn't this kind of scream a Milwaukee spot coming off of a loss as 5.5-point favorites against Portland? Yes, they're on the road, and I understand that, but it's not like the San Antonio team's been phenomenal at home this season. At home, they've only covered in 41% of their games. Milwaukee does struggle on the road, but 42.9, so 43% of their games they've covered in, so they even have a better cover rate. Their defense is starting to look a little bit better from both the perimeter and down low, so yeah, maybe I'm going to get got here because I'm just kind of taking what happened prior to and, trying to roll that into this. But I do think that this is a good spot for Milwaukee. I also like Damian Lillard here. This isn't the best pull-up defense, San Antonio, and obviously Damian Lillard's going to be a guy that likes to pull up plenty, right? So yeah, I think that Damian Lillard probably isn't a good spot. And I believe, let's see, last time he played them, I want to say that I targeted Brook Lopez heavy in that game, right? Because I didn't think he wanted to mix it up down low, which ended up Brook Lopez at like a million threes. Let's see if we can find Damian Lillard's previous game. I don't have that off the top of my head, which I'm not ashamed of at all. Head-to-head, last time he had 26 points. Right now his line's 26.5. Yeah, Brook Lopez, now looking at it, last time he played them, he had 5 threes. We were on that one. I don't mind him actually over in threes again because same sort of thing, right? Like, who's going to go down low and mix it up with Wemby, not Brook Lopez. So, yeah, I like Damian Lillard as well as Brook Lopez in terms of player props here, but Damian Lillard really because of that pull-up spot. He had 4 threes last time they played. His line right now is 3.5 for plus 115 over on FD. So I would consider that. Milwaukee as well as those two guys in terms of player props. When it comes to the total here, I do think San Antonio's defense is going to, I should say, like, step up in some way. Last time they played, obviously, Milwaukee just walked all over them, and like I said, it was a 121-105 game, which still would have stayed under this, right? I think that Milwaukee's defense is going to be there. I just think San Antonio plays a little bit better defense, so I'm going to lean under 232 right now. See a 233 out there, actually, on MGM, so yeah, if this thing's moving that drastically, maybe we wait it out. That could be the potential play as well. All right, Pels taking on my Boston Celtics here. DeJounte Murray listed as questionable. Hawkins, Tice listed as questionable. And Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones still out here. Al Horford game time decision. Sam Hauser game time decision. Like I've been saying with the Celtics all year, though, or at least recently, wait them out. At any given moment when they play teams, I guess, like the Pelicans, they could be like, oh, Jaylen Brown is going to be either limited or whatever. There's nothing on the injury designation, but I don't know how these guys get through the rules and whatnot, because, again, you're supposed to have designations, right? But just to be safe. In terms of what we have, if everybody plays, I don't really see any great argument to get to the Pelicans, other than the last time they played was a very close game. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I can really point to. But we saw a similar game, or similar line in terms of when Boston played Chicago and they stomped them, right? This Celtics team should be able to obliterate this Pelicans team from downtown. They're the 5th. They allow the 5th most points from 3 over the season in terms of the last 3 games here. The 3rd most, right? Catch and shoot, pull-up, which is obviously a big one for the Celtics. Pull-up threes. Nobody allows more in terms of score percentage off of those plays than the Pelicans this season. In terms of catch and shoot, 23rd in terms of score percentage, 8th worst in terms of affected field goal percentage. If you look at their isolation numbers, Boston should be able to run all over them isolation-wise, which they have guys that do that as well. Jason Tatum, Jalen, like, there's nothing in this that should say the Pelicans stand a chance, other than the fact that the Celtics let their foot off the gas, which I liked. Obviously a Celtics fan. I watched that game last time against the Bulls, and what I like, now this could be a little Celtics talk, so bear with me for literally 10 seconds. I don't know if it's 10 seconds. I like the fact that Joe Mazzulla said, hey, starters, you finish out the game. They're up by like 25 with 2 minutes to go, and they're still playing. I like that sort of grit. Yes, you're risking injury. A lot of coaches would be like, that's stupid. A lot of fans would say that's stupid. I liked it because he probably said, hey, Go beat them by 40. Or you guys don't deserve to get your rest. Like, you've been letting teams back in. Go finish it. I love that. Maybe they take that mentality into this one. I also don't mind the idea of a Celtics team total, because what I will say is the Celtics don't play all that fast. They're a crazy efficient basketball team, which is funny because they do shoot a ton of threes. But this Pelicans team, last 10 games, are the fourth fastest team in the league in terms of pace. So if they get a little bit of the pace action from the Pelicans, right, and the Celtics can go out there and score, I don't see why they can't give you 120 tonight, right? Like, they scored 120 last time they played. So I like the Celtics team total as well in this spot. Player prop wise, pick your poison. I'm not going to say any names. I don't know if I roll with any player props here, but pick your poison, because I think that they could, anybody can have a good game here. All right, Warriors taking on Phoenix. Honestly, no injury reports injury to report that we haven't really seen. Draymond and Kuminga still out. That's nothing really new for the Warriors, right? Nothing on the Phoenix side of things. So should have Steph, Booker, like everybody looking like they're playing in this one. Last time these two squads played, they've played a couple times this year and they've split. And they've been fairly close games, right? Phoenix covered in both of them, but Phoenix was 1-point favorite when they were in Phoenix. They won 113-105. That was in late November. Then they played about a month later in December, and Phoenix were underdogs, and they lost by 4. So Golden State won by 4. Now you have Golden State, who I don't really know what to make of them. They just beat OKC, right? Like, they beat Utah substantially without Steph. It's such a weird spot for them, but Phoenix is playing good basketball. And I think people will look at that Minnesota loss and say, oh, they just lost, their streak is over and all that. I don't know if I quite agree with that. In terms of how Phoenix is going to want to score, like, they look to the mid-range, which Golden State isn't the best defense in the mid-range, and they've been scoring a decent amount in the paint. If you look at their season-long numbers, it's like, yeah, they don't have great numbers there, but in the last 10 games here, second highest in terms of in the paint. Not at the restricted area, just in the paint, right? So it's kind of that, dotted line around the foul line is where I would kind of tell you to visualize that. I don't think they'll score from 3 here, but I think Phoenix's defense from 3 has been pretty good too, so it's like maybe they can kind of hinder Steph and the Warriors. I think I'm starting to like an under, because I'm kind of trusting both defenses, which is crazy to say with Phoenix involved. They have not been a good defense all year, right? But two slow-paced teams. Again, the 2 times they've played so far this year, 113-105 under this line, 109-105 under this line. So I think I do like an under in this spot. You look at the teams recently, I guess to this line would have hit the over, obviously, last game, but prior to that, under, and then under, I believe, slightly against Washington's opening, but not the closing line. Brooklyn was an under game. Cleveland, like, Phoenix has been playing some slow basketball, and the Warriors kind of in the same boat. Like, now we're getting close to this line. I'm not saying these have been like 89 to 90 games. They're close to this line, but still under basketball. I'm just troubled in terms of trying to figure out where we'd go from a spread perspective. I think I just like the underdog in this spot. I think the Suns have a little bit more firepower. Warriors are coming off a win against the Thunder. Like, do they put 2 quality wins together? And I wouldn't consider the Utah one. I mean, I guess you could say, do they put 3 wins together? Like, this team has been struggling. I know we had the Warriors fans in the chat last time, but, like, we can be honest. It's not that I'm waiting for the Warriors to be bad. The Warriors are just bad now. Like, this is not the Warriors of old, right? Like, they're 11th in the West. If they play any of these, like, Thunder, Rockets, Grizzlies, Nuggets in a 7-game series, I don't know if they stand a chance. We're talking early. This could come back in the playoffs and be a pretty bad look. But my point being is that, I'm not going to get hyped over the Warriors because of a couple games. Like, I've seen more bad from them as good. Whereas the Thunder, I at least trust that they have a uber amount of talent. And I really do like their new starting lineup, their new lineup. I've said that multiple times, right? So, yeah, give me the Thunder. Did I say the Thunder? The Suns. We're talking weather out here. It's crazy. I can't really talk someone off of the Warriors, but I like the Suns in the under here in this spot. Player prop wise, I kind of alluded to the spot that I want to target here would be in that paint, which, yeah, you are looking at Durant, you are looking at Devin Booker in their little stop and pops right around the foul line there. I think Durant playing against his old team could be a good look. Now, his point line is at 24.5. I feel like that's a little too low in this spot. He's hit, last time he played Golden State, which was that December game, he hit 31 points, right? Was that in Golden State? Yeah, it was in Golden State. They have that situation again here today. He's hit this over in 64% of games. When we look at it from a player type perspective and sort of a player build, right? This is a Devin Booker, a Kevin Durant that is going to score a lot of his points in terms of, spot up shots, which this Warriors team does not cover all that well. So yeah, I do like Kevin Durant in this spot. 25 from him does not seem all that crazy to me. I mean, I said second worst in terms of spot up. If we just look at bottom 10 teams, he's hit the over this season in 11 of 15. So yeah, I like Kevin Durant to score tonight. That might be a good look as well, especially if we parlay piece 20 plus, that type of thing. Yeah, I like that. But guys, it's gonna wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Quick rant here, so if you're interested, stick around for another minute. But we get a lot of comments of like, wow, this video is too long and all that. Like, I think that 90% of the people like the length. Pause. Because truly, like, we're just, it's like yes, I'm saying things twice and rambling and all that, but like maybe that's why this is different. You know what I mean? Like I can only be me, and I don't want to come on here and just be a robot and be like this game breakdown would have been, I like Phoenix. I think they're going to be able to score from in the paint. Golden State, I don't really trust. They're bad. Moving on. That does not seem like, I don't have as much fun doing that, and that sort of fun and entertainment will cascade into the video for someone watching. So yeah, I don't. If you're the one of the ones saying these are too long, or this type of rant isn't for you, I guess I can say I do apologize that it's not for you. But those type of comments aren't gonna make me make the video shorter. The videos are what they are, and I damn sure love my job right now, and I know a lot of people love watching. So yeah, if you like the fact that we ramble and kind of just are ourselves and say some stupid crap, then yeah, don't worry. I know we see a lot of comments being like, wow, 7 games, 35 minutes. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that isn't that crazy to me. You know what I mean? Talking 35 minutes through 7 games, it's like we spent including the rants, including the intro, including the recap. We talked about each game for like 5 minutes. That ain't all that crazy to me. Like, I want to dig into stuff. So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that I see those comments if you are those people, and I do feel free and I hear it, but unfortunately, I'm just being honest, I don't think it's going to change. And if you do like the fact the videos are long, and you do like that I rant, and you do like that I'm a dummy, just be confident that, yeah, I'm confident enough to keep doing this. So probably an unnecessary rant, but you know what? Rant over. We'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.